Hey, good morning. All right. We're going to talk about a really tough subject. And basically, it's about when you're shipwrecked by someone else's choices and you're not in control and they've done things that and you're on the boat. They made the bad choice to go into the storm. And what do you do? What do you even do when someone else makes the decisions to shipwreck your life? And we're going to go into Acts 27. We are going to go, we're going to start a little bit, we're going to start partway in 9. Now, at this point, Paul has been like arrested, and it's like he needs to get to Caesar because the Lord has proclaimed that Paul is going to testify to Caesar of the Lord. And I don't know about you, but I would very much prefer to just go have a little road trip and like sign up to see the ruler of, the known world than be imprisoned and shipwrecked and all the things, right? All of the things that Paul went through to fulfill what God had called him to do. Right? So here we go. And at this point, he's being transferred from ship to ship. Paul advised that the frightened sailors, Paul advised the frightened sailors that they should not put out to sea in such dangerous weather, saying, "Men, I can see that our voyage would be disastrous for us and bring great loss, not only to our ship and cargo, but also our own lives. We should remain here." And right? And sometimes you're like, no, we should not go there. We should not do that thing. This is not a good choice. But someone else has control or power over you and your circumstances and things that you do not. And, right here. But the officer in charge was persuaded more by the ship's helmsman and captain than he was by Paul. So the captain of the ship listened to the wrong person. Why? Because he didn't want to hear what Paul had to say. Paul was saying, "No, wait here," and they were in this port. It's like they don't want to winter in that port. They got to get out of there. They want to go and be somewhere else. And it's like, okay, the captain, everyone says that we're good to go. This guy says no, it's dangerous. Let's employ some cognitive dissonance here and be like, I'm sure it's fine. We'll be okay. My captain says it's all right, so we're gonna go, even though this other person, he's just a prisoner, says we shouldn't. Yeah, and they made that choice. And Paul was on the ship as a prisoner, having no choice in what was going on, but simply submitting to the road to Caesar, having faith that God was going to bring him there, and suffering the consequences of other people's actions, even though he knew better. Since the majority decided to put out to sea, since Fair Haven was an exposed harbor and not suitable to winter in, they had hoped, I love this, they had hoped to somehow reach the Cretan port of Phoenicia, probably saying that wrong, which was a more suitable port because it was facing south. So yeah, they're like, Paul's like, no, and the captain and the helmsman, they're like, oh, we don't want to, we got to get out of here. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. And Paul knows. Oh my goodness. Yeah, on to Acts 27:13. When a gentle south breeze began to blow, they assumed they could make it. So they pulled up anchor and sailed close to Crete. But it wasn't long before the weather abruptly worsened and a storm, well, I got hair in my mouth. Sorry. Where was it? But it wasn't long before the weather abruptly worsened and a storm of hurricane force called the nor'easter, which there's a note in here. The Aramaic is Eurocylodons. I don't know how to say that. Typhoon. Oh, Typhoons are not good, especially, and the newer boats we have, they're bad enough. This is like a old-timey ship boat thing. Anyways, so yeah, the storm of hurricane force called the nor'easter tore across the island and blew us out to sea. The sailors weren't able to turn the ship into the wind, so they gave up and let it be driven by the gale winds. Seriously? Paul told them, and they're like, we can't do anything, so I guess we're just going to give up and just, we have to take our ship, and because they're trying to keep a ship together that never should have left port, right? As we passed to the lee of a small island called Kada? I don't know how to say that. We were barely able to get the ship's lifeboat under control, so the crew hoisted the dinghy aboard. The sailors used ropes and cables to undergird the ship, fearing they would run aground on the shoals of Syrtis. By the way, you guys start putting in the comments how about me not pronouncing things. That's not a fruit of the spirit. Don't do it. All right. They lowered the drag anchor to slow its speed and let the ship be driven along. The next day, because of being battered severely by the storm, the sailors jettisoned the cargo, and by the third day they even threw the ship's tackle and rigging overboard. After many days of seeing neither the sun nor the stars, and with a violent storm continuing to rage against us, all hope of ever getting through it alive was abandoned. We think about a storm coming and going. This was coming, but it wasn't going. It was staying, and there was like this ends up going on for weeks. They can't see the sun, they can't see the stars. Everyone's like, it's like there's food here. No one wants to eat because we're like freaking out because death storm, our boat's in a death storm. Okay, now here's the little part where I'm like, maybe saying I told you so is, well, just because Paul did it doesn't mean we're allowed to in every circumstance, but he did. So maybe there's a circumstance you can too. Talk to the Lord, don't be prideful. So tempting. After being without food for a long time, Paul stepped before them all and said, "Men, you should have obeyed me and avoided all of this pain and suffering by not leaving Crete." How many of you can identify with Paul right now? Right? Now, listen to me. Now, here's where it gets good, though, because they did the stupid thing and they didn't listen. But the Lord has plan B, C, D, E, F, all the plans. He has all the plans. Now, listen to me. Don't be depressed, for no one will perish. Only the ship will be lost. And at this point, I don't think they give 2 cents about that ship. They don't care. They're like, I want to live and not die. Get me off the boat. So yeah, now listen to me. Don't be depressed, for no one will perish. Only the ship will be lost. For God's angel visited me last night, and the angel of my God, the God I passionately serve. He came and stood in front of me and said, "Don't be afraid, Paul. You are destined to stand trial before Caesar. And because of God's favor on you, he has given you all the lives of everyone who is sailing with you." God's going to step in. All right, we're going to finish this in a part 2 to keep the videos a little bit more manageable length. All right, see you guys next video.